Welcome to the first episode of An Art Witch Halloween. My name is Amy, and every Saturday this month I will be sharing with you unique craft projects with different thematic inspirations. And today I want to get back to basics with what this season is all about. The changing colors of the leaves, the smell of decay in the air, the ground littered with acorns, the low sun of autumn days. In short, nature. For me, that is what inspires me at this time of year. So this first craft combines natural elements with holiday tradition. You've heard of Christmas trees, but have you heard of Halloween trees? I thought it was high time that I made myself one, and I have a feeling it's going to come in handy for a future episode or two. Now, it's hard to fabricate something to look natural, so I'm using a real fallen branch as the basis for my Halloween tree. As it can't stand up on its own, I'm attaching a few pieces to the bottom as a kind of stand, first with hot glue and then wire for strength. Sometimes when you're crafting, you need a third hand. Once the basic skeleton is there, it's time to bulk out the shape with air-dry clay. When you're working with air-dry clay, you'll want some water nearby to smooth out the cracks and join pieces together. To shape the top of the tree, I'm reattaching branches that I pruned off earlier and attaching them with glue and wire as I did before. I made some autumn leaves out of velvet and paper wrapped wire, which will give the tree a bit of life. I also added some hot glue for strength and to give a vine-like texture to the branches. When the clay is dried after a couple of days, it's time to paint. And here's the finished Halloween tree. Now all it needs is some ornaments. That's a different episode. I mentioned acorns before, but let me just say here and now that I do not have the knowledge to advise you about foraging for your own snacks. So instead, we're going to create a sweet treat inspired by acorns. All you need for this is hazelnuts and chocolate. How can you go wrong? When you're baking or cooking with nuts, the most important step is to toast the nuts before you use them. This really brings out a beautiful nutty flavor. Trust me, it makes a difference. You can do this in a dry sauté pan over medium heat until they get fragrant and start to get lightly golden brown in spots. If your hazelnuts still have their skin, put them into a kitchen towel while they're still hot and massage them until the skins fall off. Some of the hazelnuts we'll use whole and some of them will need to be finely chopped. Chop up your chocolate too. I'm using milk and dark chocolate. Melt the chocolate in the microwave in 15-second bursts, stirring in between each zap. Now I need to give you a disclaimer. It is a bit fiddly to hold the hazelnuts with your fingers unless you have slightly pointy nails like I do. If you're looking for a tool to do this job for you, I would recommend buying some press-on nails instead of using tweezers because they just don't work. Essentially, all you do is dip the round end of the nut in chocolate and then dip them into the chopped hazelnuts to create the look of an acorn cap. If you can absolutely not bear to work with something this small, macadamia nuts will also give you an acorn look. So what do you do with these beautiful tiny acorns? Well, you can eat them, of course, just as is, but they also work great as a cupcake topper. I also need to tell you the secret of this truly amazing buttercream, which is to melt and brown the butter in a pan beforehand, and while it's still warm, sprinkle in some cinnamon and let the flavor of the cinnamon bloom in the warmth of the melted butter. Let the butter come to room temperature and solidify, and then use it in your buttercream recipe as you would normally. It's rich and nutty and so autumnal. Last October, I made little moths out of dried leaves, and I love how they came out, but this year I want to go bigger. This craft starts with autumn leaves that you've left to press and dry under some heavy books for a couple of weeks. Separate the two sides from the stem with a craft knife and shape to your liking. Use acrylic paint to add patterns and details to your wings if you like. I'm using a bit of cardboard to stabilize the materials. There's a little hole cut out so I can hang it on the wall when it's done. Fluffy dried grass is perfect for the moth's body and can be deconstructed and glued back together into the shape you want. The bottom wings I'll glue on top of the body, and the upper wings I'll glue underneath the body. Don't forget to add antennae. Try this craft with all sorts of dried leaves and see how many different moths you can create. Thank you for joining me for this nature-inspired Halloween crafting. Be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss next week's episode, and please enjoy this sneak peek. This was a time when mourning the dead was turned into an art form, into a fashion.